How I've always understood this verse is that it's the golden rule. I know how I want other people to treat me.
Yeah.
So I need to treat people that way. That's how I've always taken it, as a conviction on how I treat other people, not on how I'm loving myself.
Because of that promise that I've been given, I live my life in a way that's like, okay, I know where I'm at. Like, I know I'm a worm, but
I know I'm a worm.
I know I'm a worm, but I also know that I'm worth something to him.
I mean, don't spend hours and hours of your life just like in the bathroom trying to get yourself looking perfect, because like you will not ever look perfect. I'm sorry. But you're already beautiful.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the studio. Today, we're going to be talking about
Self-love.
self-love. I know what the topic is. We're just going to keep going, keep it natural. But first, we want to thank our sponsors, Team Missions International. They take kids on mission trips. And so now is the time to go to their website at teammissions.org, and you can learn more for summer of 2025. We also have a little bit of construction going on, so please have grace with a little bit of noise in the background.
Oh, I don't know why I was just sat here like waiting, like who's gonna do the fun question? Wonder who it's gonna be. Literally me every single time.
And then there's Faith.
Oh my gosh, I thought that said if you could insanely, because I can't read, if you could instantly master any skill or talent, what would it be and why?
I already know my answer.
Me too.
I would want to pilot airplanes. I want to be able to fly an airplane. Wouldn't that be so fun? Like, I don't want to have to go to school for it, but if I could just learn it and then be like, yeah, I can fly this plane, guys. Just sit back. I know how to fly an airplane.
Have no fear.
Yeah.
At least here.
I would love
Okay,
that.
that was a good answer.
Mine would to be fluent, probably in Spanish. I'm going to Colombia, Lord willing, for my internship with Sojourner School of Ministry. Shout out. So I'm going to be there for 9 months, and I've fallen behind on the language learning.
But hey,
But I also just feel like, especially living in Florida, I think knowing Spanish fluently would be a very useful skill.
Yeah. I think maybe, I don't know, this was a hard one. I've been thinking about it all afternoon. I'm thinking maybe scuba diving.
Oh,
'Cause, like,
interesting.
getting certified is expensive and stuff. Like, what if you were just like totally there and you just had total confidence? Because I actually think it sounds kind of scary.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I'm not going to do it.
Like if the pressure, like if any of the pressure goes wrong, like you get.
Hear me out. That 47 meters down movie, never gotten over it. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it. I was just
It's
thinking about how it's
did we
made.
watch it together? And when I was a student?
Maybe.
I'm pointing because it was over there.
Yeah. Maybe.
No, I didn't want to watch it, and all the other students wanted to, and it was absolutely horrifying. The people
They
are
get
trapped.
stuck in a cave.
No, they're trapped under. Oh, it's like sharks and claustrophobia. It's both. It's bad.
Have you
Yeah,
seen?
the sharks are weird too. They're like, they can. Wait, they're blind? We're talking about two different movies.
I think we might be talking about different. Maybe you saw the second one. The second one, they're like in all the like maze underneath the water. That looks
That's what
horrifying.
I'm talking about.
I couldn't
They're
even
in
get through the preview.
They're in a cave.
I am such a wimp with movies.
scary.
No, actually, I'm the biggest wimp.
So wait, you want to do scuba diving because you didn't like that movie, or?
No, I think scuba diving seems really cool, and I actually think I'd probably love it. But there is a certain amount of fear there,
Yeah.
and part of the fear is because you don't know what you're doing.
What if you just did snorkeling?
If I was instantly a master scuba diver, the fear is gone. I
Yeah.
know all of the equipment. I'm a master at it. Certified all the way to the top.
That's real.
Have you seen the people who do scuba diving in caves?
Horrifying.
I would never.
Can't do it.
I would not. Like,
That
you get lost down
zero
there.
interest in
You're
that.
dead. You're literally done.
See, I saw this video of like a cave tour guide, and they went in, and it was like super small. There were like 8 people under there, and he was like, yeah, there's only like one way out. Everyone stick really close. And then he like made a turn, and he like just hid and turned his flashlight off so they couldn't see him, and everyone was like freaking out.
That's not
That's
even
so
cool.
mean.
I feel like that's not even cool though.
They're like, it's okay, guys. We just gotta stay calm, stay calm. He's like, nah, I'm just messing with you.
I just gotcha.
Yeah.
I hate.
I was like,
Are the signs they put down in those caves? Have you seen those?
I've been
like-
I've been to caves before. What sign are you talking about?
No, girl. I'm
What?
talking about like deep underwater caves.
Oh, no.
They will send
No.
people down there and they put in signs that says like literally it'll have like a little symbol of a dead person and then be like, do not go past this point. Like, it is not safe. And then there's always videos of people swimming past the point. I'm like, what are you doing?
No, I haven't seen those.
Do you see the
That's
sign?
scary.
Because I see the sign. The little, like, cross skull thing.
I'm so excited. And decided not to die.
Oh my goodness.
You
I
guys.
like saw it in my brain. I was like,
It took a loading second for me to figure out what you guys were even doing.
All right, so our topic for today is self-love. And so our first question says, how do teachings on humility and meekness in the Bible challenge the modern understanding of self-love? So I'll be honest, I did do some research on self-love, but I want to hear your guys' answers before I like read you all the things that I researched, because I dove into it a little bit, but I'll
I
wait.
love that. I don't know. I feel like modern day understanding of self-love definitely comes with like a confidence that can lead to pride very quickly. Like loving yourself because of all of the great attributes that you have, or like, I don't know. It's just very focused on yourself, very self-centered. And obviously that goes against what we know in the Bible. Where your self-love is rooted in how the Lord sees you and who he says you are, and the things that are like good about you are his attributes. Like you're made in his image, and your life is supposed to reflect his character. So like anything that's good in me is from him and looks like him. And so, yeah, I don't know. That question to me seems like it's complicated, but it's, when you're looking at it from a biblical perspective, it seems really simple to me. Like, it's right there. The self part of the love
Yeah.
is what can get you.
Yeah, I think the Bible has a lot to say about the condition of the human heart is to tend towards pride and self-obsession. And
Yeah.
I don't think that generally as women, we need to think about ourselves more. I think the Bible's pretty clear that we all need to think about ourselves less. And so I think
Amen,
if you look
sister.
at the like consistent verses where you see like repeatedly in the Bible throughout Psalms, Proverbs, Jesus talks about it, the New Testament talks about it, is talking about humbling yourself and thinking about yourself less than others. And so I feel like this is a really popular, common teaching within the church right now, this concept of like, well, you just need to love yourself. And I just don't really think it's biblical. Is that too strong of a statement?
I don't know.
I don't know what Ellie.
I
Don't know what Ellie believes about this.
No, I'm excited. I'm just interested to see what you guys say.
I don't think you should hate yourself.
No.
I think that's,
No.
but like, yeah. I think the Bible's, like, it literally says, I think it's one of the Pauline epistles, do not think more highly of yourselves than you ought to think.
I think I have it on here.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes. Romans 12:3. For by the grace given to me, I say to everyone among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to, but to think with sober judgment, each according to the measure of faith that God has assigned.
Yes, Paul.
Yeah. Later in Romans chapter 12, verse 10, it says, be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. That was the verse of the day today. And I was like, yeah, what does the Bible say about humility and meekness and like how we love others? Because I know it talks a lot about like love your neighbor as yourself. But then the verse of the day literally was be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Like literally the Bible's verse just says right there, like you're meant to honor other people more highly than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we talking so much about self-love when like
You're
the
not
Bible
supposed to be
doesn't
thinking about
say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I could find a verse in the Bible that says, like, don't forget to take care of yourself first so that you can pour into others. Like,
It's not really what Jesus did for us.
no. And that's not to say that you should neglect, like, I would say spiritually, you need self-care for sure. Like, I would not go out and, like, try and be a witness for Christ without taking time to be in the Word for myself and praying for myself, getting to know Christ for myself. So I think in that sense, yeah, you're not going to be able to pour into others if you're not building that relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that applies with love.
Okay, well, this kind of leads into the next question because this fascinated me. I had no idea that people viewed this verse as meaning this. question number 2 is, how does loving your neighbor as yourself relate to self-love? People use that. No, okay, I have had so many people, I've heard people say like, well, you can't truly love other people unless
you don't love yourself.
And a lot of them are like,
It's a
so
head
I'm working on
scratcher.
loving myself right now. Wait, what'd you say?
It's a head scratcher.
It is a head scratcher.
Literally a head scratcher.
Jokes on you, find out I have head lice.
Whoa.
No.
I'm joking. That's a complete joke.
Anyways,
No, okay, though. Who doesn't think of that whenever you touch your hair? You guys don't?
yeah. No, because sometimes
okay.
I play with my hair during class, and
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
See, now
they're
I'm
all
thinking-
gonna think I'm gonna
now
have
I'm
lice.
thinking about it.
Yeah, no.
Also, everyone listening to this now is scratching their head. It's
You're
called
welcome.
Influence.
Got him.
It's called influence.
Anyways, I did not know that people took that verse to mean that, oh, well, if I'm not loving myself well, then I don't even know how to love other people, which I feel like is so backwards of how I've always understood this verse, is that it's the golden rule. I know how I want other people to treat me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to treat people that way. That's how I've always taken it, as a conviction on how I treat other people, not on how I'm loving myself. It's almost, I think this verse is almost pointing to common sense. We all want to be treated well.
Yeah.
And we know that. And so we need to treat other people how we want to be treated.
I
To me,
think-
I don't know.
This actually kind of segues into like what I was looking into. So, I'm just going to talk a little bit and then I'll connect how it was connected to yours. So, the self-love movement actually started, from what I could tell, in like the 1950s and 60s following
Oh,
World
she
War
went
II. and
historian
during the
on us.
Vietnam War.
Wow.
I'm sad right
Okay.
now.
Are
I'm
getting
so
shown up
ready.
right now. Okay, sorry.
Listen,
say that again.
listen.
Okay, sorry.
It started in the 1950s and 60s. So this was like when the hippies were all, doing their thing, living life. But the term self-care originated as a term to describe how mental health patients could take actions to care for themselves, which was used for institutionalized patients, so people with PTSD or other trauma
out.
from being
Yeah,
in
that's valid.
World War II or the Vietnam War.
Oh, I said that's valid.
That's valid. Right. And then it was in the 60s used more widely for in medical literature to refer to patients administering their own meds. So basically, from what I could tell, it used to be that like only doctors and nurses could like give you your medicine. Like they'd say, you're at the hospital, here, I can give you your pills, you take them. But then in the 60s and so on, they said, well, we can trust our patients to take their meds at home. So that's what they called self-care, was administering your own meds, which like we all do that now. Like we all give ourselves, for the most part, you get your prescription, you take your own meds. But they started coining that term as like, okay, you can take these home and do like your self-care or whatever. But it was meant for like medicine. It was never, when it started, it was not intended to be like everybody needs to do bubble baths and like, read more books that they enjoy on their free time and just take more time to think about themselves. Like that was not the original intent of the term. It was meant for people like first responders and people coming out of war with like PTSD. Like self-care was not intended to be everybody think about yourself more and like glorify yourself more. It was for people who were like actually mentally ill and like their brain was not right. So I think that's where it ties into the verse that you were saying. My notes.
Uh-oh.
That happened last episode too.
So yeah, the verse loving your neighbor as yourself. If your brain is functioning normally and like you're in a right mind, then I think that it should be common sense that like you treat people the way that you want to be treated yourself.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why they came up with the term self-care was for those who were mentally ill or like who had PTSD, who were no longer in their right mind, who needed to like reflect and remember like, okay, yes, I went through this pain and this trauma and everything, and I need to reflect and remember like, okay, I can still love others as I love myself. Like, I think that originally it was not intended for every person to
I get what you're
use
saying. It was like for a marginalized
Yeah,
group of
it
people
was-
who had been through like extremely traumatic experiences.
Yes. And that's my perspective.
That is
Maybe that's
interesting.
wrong, but from what I could tell historically, it was intended for that small group of marginalized and like hurting people, and not all of us who are chilling to take it and like run with it.
I just genuinely don't believe that I need to be more selfish.
Right.
I really don't.
I'm sure I've got enough.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like, and there's things about myself that I dislike. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that I'm like 100% confident all the time.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I think for the majority of the Christian community, we actually need to love ourselves less.
Yeah.
We need to be more selfless.
which I think is like us taking this term, which was meant for other people, and applying it to everyone. When I don't think that it should be. Like, I don't think it should be taken towards everyone. Like, I think you're mentally stable enough that you don't need to be reminded that you still have worth. Like,
Rock on.
you're chilling.
Yeah.
You know that you have worth. Like,
Someone thinks
somebody thinks I'm stable.
Oh man.
But I think that's like the baseline is if you're stable and you know that you are not like a piece of trash on the road. Like, most people know that already. They
Other
don't
than
need
the
to be
night
told
before
that.
my period starts.
Well-
Other than that, okay, that's where I started to be like, ooh.
Maybe.
It's such a relief. I'm like, wow, I'm not crazy.
Like the way that you're defining it for like when they coined that phrase is so different than now, because I feel like self-care is not the same as like pampering,
Yeah.
which is what it's turned
Yeah.
into.
Yes,
So like
that's a great word. Pampering.
I care for myself. I bathe. I brush my hair. I brush my teeth. Like
Yeah.
I clip my fingernail. You know, like I'm caring for myself. It's not that I don't do that already, but I'm not like, oh, maybe I shouldn't give examples, or maybe I should. Called out, but
I don't know. I don't know where the line
well,
is.
no,
of, like,
I was just thinking of like your bubble bath example. Of, like I'm not gonna set aside like I don't
bubble
need.
bath's not
This
wrong.
is a distraction, but have you guys seen the crazy bubble baths? I know they're rage bait, but they like fill it full of juice and stuff to make it different colors.
Ugh.
Juice.
Have you not seen
What?
this?
Like,
No, they'll do like cranberries, like have a holiday bath with me, and they like dump
Wait, 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 wait.
cranberries and like,
bro,
like,
why?
It's totally rage bait. I'm so sure it must be rage bait, but it is horrifying. I'm like the way I would never get in that water. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Cranberries
I don't know what you're
in
talking
your
about, but I
bath
believe
water.
it. Because I was thinking also of like
floating
extreme
candles and like
yes.
stands to rest your phone while you
Yes.
watch. And
crazy.
Who has time?
I don't know.
Like no one. If that's how you define self care, no one's caring for themselves. You guys got to push this stuff harder because no one has time for that.
Also, I think different perspective here. I don't know if like the general sense of self-care is really what should be self-care. So like when I think about things that refresh me, that help me as a person, like might be categorized as self-care. I think of my time with the Lord in the morning. I think of running. I think of, I don't know, a lot of like even productive things that maybe I do by myself, but they're refreshing. But that's taking care of myself.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
But
It's
I
not
don't
like
think those
sitting-
things are wrong.
No.
I think that those
That's what
are
I'm saying. Like,
good.
I think those are healthy habits to have.
Yeah.
But like this, like obsessive, like 18-step self-care skincare routine. I'm like, what?
For
I don't.
what?
I don't know if I see the benefit in that. That's where I feel like it's starting to get like self-obsession versus like healthy outlets.
Yes.
Because if you are pouring out a lot, or maybe even just school's really stressful, you do need outlets to take care of yourself. But I don't necessarily think it needs to be this like self-love journey.
Yeah.
Self-love journey.
It all seems very materialistic as well. But
It's all
like
about being like aesthetic, kind of.
yeah, yes. And also like it's like a treat yourself moment. Which is I don't need more of that either. Don't tell me that I can just be spending money. Like I'm in school, right? I don't have an income.
Can't treat myself. I don't have the money to treat myself.
I'm I go to Sonic and get ice cream. That's a little sweet treat for myself. Like that's my
Is that your
definition.
self-care?
Yes.
Your ice cream at Sonic? I don't think, hey, maybe this is a crazy opinion. I don't think getting yourself a sweet treat from Sonic is a bad thing every once in a while.
I don't think it is either.
like,
Yeah.
As far as aesthetics are concerned, like I think there's a difference, which like the reason that I would go and do that, I don't do that by myself. I go with a group of friends because being with the people refreshes me. Like you're talking
Yeah.
about, and I know that's not applicable to everyone because not everyone is extroverted. So for me, I can decompress and like
With people.
feel
Yeah.
rejuvenated, and I'm like, oh, okay, like if I'm in a bad mood, I enjoy hanging out with people.
Yeah.
Because
I would agree.
I just love my friends. So blessed. Love you guys so much. And my family, because now she's my friend and my family. Oh my
Dude,
God.
that's crazy.
What a good time.
Oh.
Anyways.
Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, there seems to be a difference between like just caring for yourself and way overdoing it, pampering yourself and being spoiled.
I also really, something I don't like in Christian communities is when the Bible tells us to do something and people say that they can't do that until they work out some sort of certain heart issue. Or I just think it's so overcomplicating what God has told us to do. And this is one of those examples where people are like, oh, well, I can't know how to love other people until I know how to love myself.
But
You actually are able to love other people because you do.
yeah,
Right
you already
now,
love
you already
yourself.
are loving people, and deep down you love yourself, I think,
But
in
also,
a selfish way.
I think that's another thing that could maybe go back to pride, which, like I was saying earlier, like the love that you give is not because like you in and of yourself are able to love people in that way.
Oh yeah, no,
that
totally.
comes from God.
Yeah, you're not the source anyways, queen.
So like you're not.
That's a good point.
Whether you love yourself or not, it's not coming from you.
Either way, it's not. Yeah, no,
The
I
love
totally
that you
agree.
have for yourself, from God. The love you have for other people, from God.
I would say that like you don't need to spend more time focusing on how to love yourself. You need to spend more time like with the Lord, getting filled up in his love for you, and then it pours over into your love for others. You can't if you are spending all your time thinking about how much you hate yourself, how much you don't love yourself, literally you're thinking about yourself when you're thinking about not thinking about yourself.
Yes,
You know,
no, I know
like
what you're about.
you're in a cycle. You need to get out and you need to
Yeah.
think of the Lord and how he loves you. He's like he
Even
died
when
for
I'm
you.
sitting and
Like,
feeling sorry for myself
Yes.
and self-loathing, that is also, and I'm guilty of doing it. I can remember
Same.
so many times in my life where
Yeah.
I was like, nobody likes me. You know, this whole like sad opera. You're welcome again for those sound effects. But that was selfishness. A lot of that was selfishness. And while there was truth there that people had hurt my feelings or other things like that, like
Yeah.
deep down also though, that also was me really thinking about only myself. But I was going to say, you were talking about like God being the source. That verse, one of my favorite verses, was on our wedding invitation. That's why I stuck my lip out because it looked cute. Was we love because he first loved us.
Amen.
We only love
That's a
each
good one.
other as brothers and sisters because of the love that God has shown us. We only love God because of the love he's shown us.
And what was his love? How was his love shown to us? Sacrifice.
Yes.
Sacrifice. Jesus didn't say, sorry, I need to go love myself better so that I can love you guys more. So I'm
And
not
loving
going to.
myself is not going to the cross.
Yeah. Come on. I mean,
Actually, I
It
have
would
another
be
That's a
verse.
staying
good
at the right
one.
hand of the Father. Thank
Wait,
you so
where
much.
is it? Oh, where is this verse? Oh, here it is. Philippians 2:3-8. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others. Have this mind among yourselves, which is yours in Christ Jesus, who, though he was in the form of God, did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped, but emptied himself by taking the form of a servant, being born in the likeness of men, and being found in the human form, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross. Literally what we were just saying.
literally what we're
But the
talking
other
about.
thing I noticed in this verse is that it also says, let each of you look not only to his own interests. Again, it's not wrong to take care of yourself, but you don't need to be obsessed with yourself.
Right.
You need to count other people's needs higher as your own. I think probably like the best example I think of someone who is always pouring out would be like a mom of young children. That's like where I feel like
That's so
she needs to be
true.
able to get away. You know what I'm talking about? But like my life isn't draining in that way. Like I don't need to get away like maybe a mom of like twins needs to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's how people are acting. Like I just
Yeah.
really needed some time to myself, but they
Like, what do you
already
like,
have a lot of time to themselves. You know what I'm saying?
You're getting away from time with yourself to go have some more time with yourself. Like, oh man, that must be rough. Sorry, guys. It's kind of judgmental.
Ellie's on like a roast train
Dang.
today.
I gotta get off the train.
Okay, so who wants to start on question number 3? Have you read a question yet, Faith?
I don't think so. Not since the fun one.
Okay. Do you want to read the next question, Faith?
Sure. Says, what role does self-acceptance play in a Christian girl's faith and relationship with God?
I feel like we have to define what self-acceptance is. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to define it. So, like, self-acceptance of what? Like, of your worth, of your...
I think I would say like where I am in the sanctification process. Like we have to, it's very hard, I feel like, for me to understand that I have to be, I don't know if comfortable is the right word, but that's the word I'm going to use. And then you guys can help me think of a better word, maybe. I need to be, maybe confident is a better word.
Content.
Content, confident in God's grace that he's enough and covered me and that I am redeemed, justified, I'm a new creation,
Yeah.
all of that good stuff. But I don't want to be so comfortable that then I'm not striving to be better and
Yeah.
striving to be more like Christ. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, is where if all you do is like looking in like, oh, what a terrible creature that I am, worm of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually think that's a Bible verse. I think Job calls himself
Yeah,
Probably.
he
Joe
does.
probably did.
He
something
does.
along those lines.
You feel it sometimes, don't you? I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
You know, that day right before your period, that's when I'm feeling it. I'm
Just
like,
in the
worm
dirt.
of the earth.
Yeah, that's my most worminess day.
Worminess.
You're welcome for that.
Can you take it back?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's a podcast, so I can edit it out if I want to, but I'm in the hand of Kate, whatever she does with that.
Literally.
But to also understand, like, okay, like God does like loves me and values me, and I have value because of that. So that's kind of what I was thinking about within that question. Is that I think we are supposed to accept ourselves as God sees us, but then it's also confusing, and I want to hear your thoughts, because we're also striving to be more like him. And like I said, wretched worm that we are. So
Like accepting that you're in a place that will, right now you're, you're positionally sanctified and saved, but
Mhm.
you're, what is the other word? Practically, like you're still
Getting worked
being
on.
sanctified. You're still getting closer to who God is, and you will never reach that point while you're here on earth. But like positionally, you are saved, you are clean, you are like washed white as snow. But then also, you're still in a sinful world, and so that you are still like a broken person who's still not perfect.
And if you can't accept that God's grace has covered your sins and you are constantly filled with regret and shame looking backwards, that isn't what God
Red
died
flag.
for.
No, yeah.
Red
Like
flag.
that is an example of where you are not applying God's grace.
Right.
Amen. Emma's looking at me like, what do you have to say? And I was like, yes, that's good stuff. I agree with you. In the context of the question, the question's, what role does self-acceptance play in a Christian girl's faith and relationship with God? I think because of the context of the question, I would agree with you, Emma, like that the self-acceptance is knowing that I, in and of myself, am not going to attain perfection. I'm not maybe going to be all of the things that I ever want to be right now, but that it's the work of God in my life that makes me look more and more like him. And so, yeah, it's not that I accept myself, but being filled with gratitude that he accepts me.
Yeah. Like on our own, we're not worthy. Like I'm not worthy, but God
Yeah.
still, stepped down from heaven to save us. Like he still chose us, even though on our own, not worthy. But with him, covered in the blood of Jesus, loved, chosen, accepted,
Yeah.
washed clean.
Yeah. And we actually were talking about that. We had our youth group had a retreat this weekend, and we were going through the book of Philippians. And I can't remember. I think it's at the end of chapter 1. Could be so wrong. But it says to live your life in a manner that's worthy of the gospel. And so we were talking about what that means. And I sat there for a while because I was like, I don't know how to teach this verse. Like, this is over my head. And I was a group leader. So I was like, yeah, guys, what do you think about that? I was like,
What do you think about that,
what do you think it
guys? That's a
means?
really good question. Let's hear
Really
your
good
thoughts
stuff.
on it.
Yeah. Give me some time with this one. But that idea of like being worthy or being accepted, it's not that I am worthy. Like of myself, I'm not worthy to have received the gospel. It's just because of his grace. It's just because of his mercy that he willingly gave that to me. And so now, because of that promise that I've been given, I live my life in a way that's like, okay, I know where I'm at. Like, I know I'm a worm, but
I know I'm a worm.
I know I'm a worm, but I also know that I'm worth something to him. Like I'm not gonna, what's that verse that talks about? It's also Paul. It's the way he words stuff, man.
What is
I
it?
can't always
like?
remember, but he's talking about how like you keep re-crucifying Christ. He's talking about works. Oh my gosh.
He talks about works for a lot of
Sounds like a
Romans.
Galatians verse to me, but I don't know.
Yeah, I
Off the
think
top of
he's
my
talking
head.
to a Jewish audience about works and saying like,
No, actually, that sounds like Romans.
maybe it is. they might be Romans. Like you trying to attain, I guess in this context we could say acceptance of yourself. You're just making, I think it is Romans. You're nullifying the grace of God. Or is that a different passage? You guys get what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But can I throw back to your worm statement?
Yeah.
I am a worm. That should be our new sticker.
I
I
know
know I'm a worm, and it's a picture of a worm, and then it's got like something about the grace of God in there.
Okay,
Wouldn't that
hear
be
me
fun?
out.
Amen.
Do you guys know the trend that
know
went
I'm a
around of
worm.
like girlfriends asking their boyfriends if they would still love them if they were a worm?
Yeah.
God would love me
God
if I was
loves
a
us
worm.
as worms.
I am
No
no, I'm
matter
a
the
worm.
level of worminess.
No,
He loves us.
it's the
My
Bible.
wormiest.
Like it talks about us being worms. It also talks about us being grasshoppers. Like we could have a sticker series.
It's right up there with the
Sheep.
meme. There, I saw a meme also that said, "When people call you names online, but I call myself worse things in the hymns I sing in church on Sunday." Accurate, literally.
That's so true.
Come on, somebody.
Come on.
Yeah, so good. Okay,
God loves me at my wormiest.
At my wormiest.
which I feel like we might have already covered this question, but I'll just read it and see if they have anything else to say. If not, we'll just skip ahead. How does the Bible offer a better way to deal with feelings of inadequacy than promoting self-love? Okay, I'm gonna answer myself first and then maybe give you guys time to think. I think the Bible addresses it and like offers a better way through stories. The people in the Bible were so inadequate. Other than maybe Mary, the mother of Jesus, was inadequate, but also she was kind of amazing. So, but
Also-
some of those ones
also
aside,
goated.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the really great ones. And look at the kind of in the middle ones where all of us would probably fall.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be fair here.
Look,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? Like Gideon was incredibly inadequate. David, inadequate.
Even Esther, she was like, man, I can't do that.
Inadequate. Yeah.
And then-
Ruth, she was a foreigner in a very unwelcoming community, I guess would be
Yeah.
a way of saying it. And like inadequate to take care of her mother-in-law and all these different things. And so I think looking at those stories and seeing how God worked through inadequate people helps me. Like, okay, I'm just one with the crowd of inadequate people.
Right.
Yeah.
None of us are adequate. It's literally only by the grace of God that any of us are worthy.
Which is so much more freeing.
Right.
If it's all about performance, dude,
Not
straight
looking to
good
jail.
for me. Yeah, straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Straight to
Believe it
jail.
or not, straight to jail.
He's stealing sweaters.
Also, all the construction stopped. It's like blissfully quiet
I think
now.
he answered your prayers. I think they took
Yeah.
an early day. I think they're
I-
gone.
I hope it's not terrible at the beginning, folks, and that you braved it through
Yeah.
to now.
They were also blasting music, and we were so concerned. Ellie was like, "What kind of music is going to end up in the background of
I
our
just
podcast?"
didn't
I was
have
scared.
the heart to go down there to those poor construction guys and just be
Yeah.
like, "Can you
No.
cut the tunes?" Like
They're
I,
really working so hard.
They,
They
are,
really
and
are.
that just seemed like such a buzzkill. I just didn't want to be
No.
unpopular. When Ellie asked me about it, I was thinking in my head, like, if she offers to go tell them to stop, I'll let her, but I'm not gonna go tell them to stop.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I want to be the cool kid on the block, so
I want to be well liked.
I want to be liked. All right,
right.
go ahead, Ellie.
One verse that my mom, or like one section of verses that my mom always pointed me to, like when I was a kid or growing up, is Psalm 139, like verse 13 and ongoing. Faith likes it.
My favorite.
I
That's
love
like my favorite chapter of Psalms.
It's really good, but like it's also really encouraging because I'm just gonna read it and then I'm just gonna read it. Psalm 139:13. For you created my inmost being, you knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book, before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Are we kidding?
Cry.
Like, he put in all that work just to make you. Like, he knitted you together. And I don't know. Look, I know knitting and crocheting are coming back, and I personally enjoy knitting and crocheting. But it's not a fast project. Like, it's not something that you can just sit down and, like, whip it out in, like, 20
Takes
minutes.
9 months.
No, yeah.
It takes a long time to knit something, guys. And
Thank you.
to make a baby.
That was good
like,
stuff. That
The
was good.
Lord has been not only for the 9 months that, you were growing in your mother's womb, but like your whole life, he has been just caring for you and nurturing you by the people he's placed around you and by the places that he has you in. Like, he cares so much for us. I don't even like. It's just so reassuring and so comforting to think that our God cares so much. Like
Yeah.
He created you intentionally and like
Mhm.
for this time and place. Like if that's not encouraging, then I don't know what is. Like He just cares so deeply for us. His thoughts toward us are so numerous we could never count them. One of us, His thoughts towards one person are more than we could ever count.
Preach, girl.
Are we kidding?
Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
Wait, 5?
Yeah.
Okay. How can a Christian girl practice self-care or self-respect without falling into excessive self-focus? I think kind of what we said before, like, and maybe we say this maybe we've said this in multiple episodes, but just like basic hygiene is not, I feel like, too self-focused as long as you're like,
not at all.
look, man, take a shower, put on deodorant, brush your teeth, brush your hair, like,
Put on a cute outfit.
put on a cute
Take
outfit.
care of yourself.
Yeah. But don't go so far into it that you're spending don't spend hours and hours of your life just like in the bathroom trying to get yourself looking perfect because like you will not ever look perfect. I'm sorry. But you're already beautiful. You're already like wonderfully made. You don't need to like keep polishing yourself until you shine. Like you're already so wonderful and like created in the image of God. Like
Yeah.
you're already beautiful. You don't need to do any more.
I think one of the things that we discussed was that all of us feel re-energized. Well, that was hard to say. The three of us, well, actually, a lot of ours were actually the same, but different people feel re-energized by different things. Yeah. And so I think take stock in your own life. Like what makes you feel re-energized, rejuvenated, not just physically, but also spiritually. For me, being in nature, that's a good one for me. Hanging out with friends, running with friends in nature.
I saw 3 of them.
That's good
That's
stuff.
a triple whammy.
As long as they're not like super fast, then it's not restful. It's just stressful. They're like talking like.
No, I did that once.
It's a horrible experience.
It was with Lupe. I love her so much. When she got
fast?
Here, she was just like, we weren't even running that fast. I was just really out of shape, I guess. I don't know.
That's tough.
Well, it was after the summer. It was in the fall, so I didn't run all summer. So I guess that's why. Anyways,
Was she running all summer though, like on her team?
no. I just
She
guys,
just built
I'm,
different.
I told you I was unfit, okay? No, we were running at like not that fast of a pace, and she was talking while we were running. And at first, I was also talking, and then slowly as we went, I just was and then turned into
Yeah.
and she was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm so good. You just keep going. I'll be here."
Oh man. Anyways, so whatever I know the microphone just gets further and further away from Faith.
It just
But
keeps.
you know what like helps you feel rejuvenated. Also, I think one of the biggest things that makes people feel burnt out, like they need self-care or whatever else, is just being really physically tired. Like
Yeah.
take stock. What time are you going to bed? What time are you getting up?
Facts.
Just
Are you
get a
sleeping
long
well?
sleep.
Are you resting well?
Honestly.
Your body. It's actually crazy. I really like listening to like health podcasts. The amount of importance that getting enough sleep is on so many different areas of your body. Like neurologically, that's when your brain like does all its cleanup. Like little goes around the mop.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Guys,
That's when
brain
your
science
muscles
is so cool.
fix everything that you damage during the day. Like so many things, like all your hormone regulation comes from sleep. It's actually really
Your lymph
interesting.
nodes
Yep.
do their thing during the night when you're
Yeah.
asleep.
So if you're feeling really super burnt out, have you been sleeping? I would say look into sleeping.
Okay, can I throw back to the last question? God made the human body so amazing.
It's true.
Literally. Like, okay,
Can
yes.
you imagine if we never had a turn off and turn back on button? Like you had a
sleeping?
bad day that just
Oh.
lasted forever because you didn't get to sleep and restart.
Good thing
No,
we have
yeah.
sleep.
Sleep is always like a reset for you.
Yeah.
Like God built resetting your system mentally, emotionally, all those things.
And he also modeled it for us.
Yes,
On the 7th day, he rested.
it's true.
He didn't have to. God don't need to rest.
Yeah, I don't think he gets
He doesn't
burnt out.
need to. Yeah, like
I guess he seemed a little burnt out in the Old Testament towards like people in those
Oh,
judgment zones. But
maybe his patience a
He's
little
burnt
bit.
out
But
maybe isn't the right
but
word.
maybe not.
Frustrated might be a
Yeah.
better. Do you think
Well-
God is frustrated? Does God get frustrated? Yeah, I'd say he does.
I don't know. I mean, like, I believe that God is completely just, but he's also has grace. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
he
I mean,
He had dished out so much grace that he was like, gotta whip out the justice.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
this is
They got to the
it's
point where-
righteous indignation.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I didn't
words.
mean like frustration, like bad, like wrong.
No, yeah.
yeah. I
No,
mean, just
yeah.
that, like
I would definitely say
it's
frustrated.
like when a kid like pushes mom to the point where it's like, okay, you're done,
Yeah.
and like the kid
Go sit
deserves
in
that.
timeout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was a total side tangent.
Free tip.
That one was for free.
Do you want to do the outro, Faith, or does anyone else have anything elaborate they want to say about self-love and self-care?
Not really.
All right, Faith, do the outro.
Amazing.
Bye.
Yeah, this was a good episode to go through like all these different questions. I feel like even just rethinking through some of those like simple but hard to practice truths that we find in the Bible, that's good for me to know as well. Like I need to be spending more time thinking about my caring for my relationship with the Lord and my relationship with others than just caring simply for myself or quote unquote loving myself and knowing what that love really looks like and where it comes from. So I was encouraged, but I hope everyone else was encouraged as well. We want to thank our sponsors, Teen Missions International. If you guys are interested in being involved in short-term mission trips, you can check out their team websites at teenmissions.org. Ellie's like, website. Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for listening.
Bye-bye.